So if you're a guy and you like girls, I'd say, you probably knew what came to my head, but I'm not gonna say that. My name is Derek Pete. Born in Jamaica, grew up in South Florida. I converted to Islam when I was about 16, and before that point in my life, it was all about, you know, I guess basketball, video games, going to the pool, playing football, back alleys, this sort of thing. At age 11, when my father died when I was 11, that it really started to push me in the direction of Islam. So when I was 13 years old, you know, I started thinking about God more, thinking about religion more, thinking about myself as a Christian, growing up as a Christian, what religion, you know, with all these religions, which religion is correct, and why do they differ? So 13, 14, I started studying more. And then at 15, this is when I first really read about Islam, like in a complete way. When I was 15, this was my first real experience with Islam, as far as reading it like as an entire body of like as a religion. Even though it was short, it was actually in a history class. So in this class, we were studying the different world religions. So we studied Hinduism, we studied Buddhism, we studied Judaism, then we got to Christianity, then we got to Islam. So I was really interested in Islam at that point because I was doing like bits and pieces of research on different religions, and Islam was always intriguing to me because I'd watched the Malcolm X movie. After seeing that movie, I wanted to do more research on Islam. So in the class, I was really excited, so I started reading ahead. So I was reading ahead in the book, so I lifted my head from the book. You know, I look up at her, I'm like, I think her name was Mrs. Walker, and I asked her, so if this is Islam, why isn't everybody Muslim? Even though it did catch my attention in a sense, but as far as like reading about Orthodox Islam, that happened when I was 15 years old. And when that happened, I felt like, you know, well, I said, wow, this is really simple, you know, because in Christianity, it's a little bit more complex. The nature of God is a little bit more complex as it concerns the Trinity. And I saw in Islam a sort of simplicity. My cousin's husband, who was a Muslim, he gave me a book about Islam. That book was just really like helped me to let go any doubts that I had, or any sort of questions that were left in my mind, or anything that was sort of holding me back. So one of my biggest concerns with converting was being able to sort of keep that barrier between myself and girls. Because before converting, you know, everything is all good. You hang out with girls, you know, either attending whatever, you know, parties, hanging out, and everything's very open. But after I know in Islam that's something I wouldn't be able to do anymore. I'd have to be more strict. That's something I had like a big concern. Like, will I be able to fulfill that? But it turned out to be not as big as I thought it was going to be. Because Allah gives you that drive that you need. Allah gives you that protection. So with my cousins, this was a major issue. I was like Yani, the black sheep, if you will, really like the weirdo, you know, me, because I left like the partying, I left you know, hanging out with the girls, hanging out with doing this, doing that. I left that, and I really, at that point in my life, I decided to really sort of separate myself from that crowd, because I saw that I needed to really focus. I needed to take things more seriously. I wanted to take my religion seriously. And I saw that if I continued to hang out with my cousins, I was going to basically just continue to do the things that I was doing in the past. So I needed to really separate myself from that and really to focus. So even though it seemed like something weird to them back then, they see me 10 years later and they say, Islam had a really good effect on his life. Because Islam, it helped me to keep my life on track in going to college, graduating from college, and then, you know, eventually, you know, coming overseas to study Arabic. One of the main things that Islam has done for me in my life is that it's given me like a focus towards the hereafter. I mean, it's given me like a clear focus, because as a Christian, you know there's a hereafter, but it's very hard to conceptualize it. It's very hard to think about it and focus on it in your daily life. It organizes things for us, and it helps us makes things clear. It's going to change your focus. So you might have like something that's really appealing to you as a non-Muslim, but you enter Islam and you enter a world where your entire perception just changes. You see different things, you understand different things. Don't worry about what people think immediately. Those ideas could very well change. And Islam, as beautiful as it is, this beauty, if you live that beauty, people are gonna notice that. People are gonna see the beauty through you. So don't worry about what they think immediately. Show them what Islam is through your own, through talking to them about Islam and showing them what Islam is through you.